The more we travel on this earth, the more we begin to appreciate, what God has created, and also we begin to appreciate, the things we have as well. Because when you come home, you realize how privileged you are, how blessed you are. I always had it in the back of my head that one day I wanted to kind of maybe step into travel writing and telling stories about journeys. There are some Muslim voices in travel writing, but in terms of actually writing books, there's probably only one or two that I know off the top of my head, actual travel writing books. Most of the travel writing books are written from the perspective of a very kind of traditional, in the English world, English speaking world, white, middle class, middle-aged man normally. My mission was to put the Muslim voice into mainstream travel. I also wanted to give those increasingly huge numbers of Muslims traveling around the world something that they could read and engage with and connect with. There was this huge, swaths of Islamic history and heritage being neglected across the globe. Not by non-Muslims, by Muslims themselves. I realized we also had lost a bit of a passion for our own history and heritage, and we weren't celebrating it. With teaching, you go from a very rigid structure where, you literally have to time your run to the toilet because you have to be back in time to make sure the kids are ready, get kids to let in, and everyone has to follow a certain routine and so on and so forth. So there's that rigidity. It's one of the most high pressured professions alongside doctors and nurses, and police and so on. And we get so many transferable skills that make it so much easier to then deal with the rigors of traveling alone. You're much more better organized. You learn to plan. You learn to give yourself deadlines. You learn to meet those deadlines. You're much more able to motivate yourself. Being a teacher means I love to learn. And when you're traveling, you're constantly learning because you're arriving in new places. And so that kind of wonderment for learning and the world is something that took me into teaching, and I also bring out and take into my traveling. When we're in a very Muslim area, because we'd look up into the hills. The Balkans is a very hilly, mountainous area. We'd look up into the hills and you'd see these pencil thin white minarets peering out from trees. And so that always signified to us that we were coming into an area where the heritage had either survived or it was clearly just a Muslim space. And I remember when we were constantly spotting these, and I think I turned around and said, "Oh, look, there's another minaret in the mountain." And my wife turned around and said, "That's the title of your book, isn't it?" We started off in Bosnia, which everyone knows is Muslim majority, but on an unconscious level obviously thinks that it's not Europe, and that's why people don't say it. Then from there we went through to Serbia, which isn't Muslim majority but had loads of Muslim heritage. Then you've got from Serbia we went into Kosovo. From Kosovo we went into North Macedonia. From North Macedonia we went into Albania. From Albania we went into Montenegro and back to Bosnia. These journeys aren't gonna necessarily make me feel more Islamic, so to speak, but it certainly makes me appreciate the power of Islam when I see that when it was employed, or when the spirit of Islam and the principles of Islam were employed in a proper way. And I'm not suggesting for 1 minute the Ottomans did that per se all the time at all, okay? But when I see that being manifested, it's wonderful and it reinforces my faith. It's also the story of a very normal British Muslim family who are just trying to understand what it means to be Muslim and European today. So that's very much the kind of ambition on this journey as well for us as a family.